Okay, TNA Turning Point 2024. It happened. It's not a bad thing. We'll kind of get into it a little bit here. There was only one kickoff show match. Instead, the kickoff show opened with Joe Hendry cutting a promo on the Turkey Bowl opponents, saying he wanted to win the World Championship and then leaving. And then we got, like I said, our only kickoff show match, which was a triple threat match between Rosemary, Savannah Evans, and Zaya Brookside. Right off the bat, Brookside ducked a clothesline, causing Rosemary to wind up hitting Evans instead. Both Evans and Rosemary basically went for quick pins on Brookside, got into argument over which one got to pin. They wanted to work together to take out Zaya Brookside as much as they could, but of course their egos kept getting in the way. Brookside came back, drop-kicked both women out of the ring to the outside. She tried to do a crossbody. Evans caught her and crashed Brookside into the ring apron. Again, they continued arguing over who got to make the pin. Brookside came back, hit a flying neck breaker DDT combination on Evans and Rosemary. Basically, Evans had Rosemary in position for the DDT. Brookside hit the flying neck breaker from it. Eventually, they fought back again. Rosemary speared Brookside after a straitjacket bomb off the top ropes. Brookside hit Evans with a straitjacket bomb, had her in a kind of a pin maneuver, got kicked out. Evans just barely kicked out, and that enabled Rosemary to spear Brookside and get the 3 count for the victory. Again, very bog standard match. Not well done, well executed, not full of botches or anything, but it does plant some seeds later as there's a backstage vignette with Rosemary challenging the winner of the Knockouts Championship match, which we'll be getting to. Okay, our next match is Mike Santana versus Frankie Kazarian. This is on the show proper. Right off the bat, Santana avoided a clothesline, hit a nice lion salt, and followed that up with a torpe into the ring barricade. However, Santana then super kicked Kazarian into the ring barricade. Kazarian kind of came back, put Santana in an armbar. Kazarian hit a slingshot DDT to the outside of the ring off the apron. Santana came back, hit a belly-to-belly off the top rope. Santana hit a rolling cutter. Kazarian then hit a tilt-a-whirl neck breaker. Santana countered a slingshot DDT into a sidewinder suplex. Kazarian then hit a slingshot cutter. Kazarian went for the fade to black. Santana countered that into the spin the block. That's a discus lariat for the 3 count of the victory. Again, nothing spectacular and kind of odd given that Kazarian won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory, which means he can come in and challenge for the World Championship at any point. He tried to challenge later that night, if you don't recall, and he got stopped. So, again, if you're trying to build him as a future champion or not, it doesn't always help doing this. And it's from there that we go to the Turkey Bowl match. Joe Hendry versus Rhino versus Brian Myers versus Eric Young versus Hammerstone versus John Schuyler. Rhino was filling in for PCO, who got held up due to travel issues. Another wrestler also had this problem. I can't say for certain, but I know the northeastern part of the United States and Canada has gotten hit with a lot of snow, so I think that might be the case there. The loser has to wear a turkey suit. I forget what the winner gets. I think it's a world title shot. They said it, but they said it so quickly I didn't catch it. Right off the bat, Hammerstone got injured during this match. I think he was doing something with Eric Young. He was trying to counter a maneuver, and you could see he just tweaked his knee, and he tried to tough it out as best he could, but he was limping really bad. He could barely hit any maneuvers. Young did clothesline Hammerstone out of the ring. Hendry hit Schuyler with a delayed suplex. Myers, Schuyler, and Hammerstone did gang up on Young very briefly. Rhino then hit a tower. They went for a tower of doom. This is where Hammerstone's injury really became apparent, because I think Hammerstone was supposed to do the powerbomb portion of the tower of doom. And he tried to get it, and his knee just kind of buckled and gave way. He could not do it, and I think they had Rhino come in and do it instead. Hendry then hit fall-away slams on Myers, Schuyler, and I believe Hammerstone was the last one. And then Hendry countered a roster cut from Myers and hit the standing ovation for the 3 count of the victory. So Brian Myers has to wear the turkey suit. He tried to do his best to avoid having it put on, but the good guys all beat up on him. Yeah, Hammerstone and Skyler were nowhere to be seen during this. The System was nowhere to be seen during this, which really proves how far he stands in that group. But yeah, he eventually had the turkey suit put on and ran off into the night. Like I said, after that we had the vignette where Rosemary challenged the winner of the Knockouts Championship match. That was later. After that, the next match was the X Division Championship. Moose taking on Laredo Kid. Not really much to say here. Early on, Moose shoved Laredo Kid off the top rope while doing a maneuver. He hit the ring barricade. Kid did come under a powerbomb into multiple insecurity kicks. But then Alicia Edwards interfered, trying to rip off Laredo Kid's mask. Moose also tried to do that. Kid did his swanton to the outside of the ring. Kid hit a Spanish fly off the top rope on Moose. But then when Moose kicked out of that, Laredo Kid went for a 450 splash. Moose got the knee up and hit a couple spears for the victory. Yeah, not a spectacular match by any stretch. Not a bad match, but again, just kind of there. You know, it's one of those good, but I think there could have been better. I wish that maybe there had been this one had been a tiny bit longer. It just, again, these very early matches were all kind of very bog standard, down pat. Nothing too much to write home about. I understand keeping the championship on Moose for now. I think you got to have a heel at this point. You got to have a heel champion for everyone to pursue, really. And so when an X Division competitor does actually beat him, it will mean a little bit more. So yeah, like I said, just kind of a non-match, really. Okay, our next match is the no disqualification match between Josh Alexander and Steve Maclin. The match, basically, I'd say a year and a half to 2 years in the making. If you don't recall, back in 2022, I did kind of think that they were pushing Steve Maclin to eventually challenge Josh Alexander. This would have come true in 2023, but Maclin tore his tricep and had to forfeit the championship. Maclin would eventually win it. Boy, who did he beat again? Was it Callahan? No, he faced PCO once. No, he beat Kushida for the championship, and then he faced PCO for one match after that, then immediately dropped to Shelley afterwards. Anyway, and then Josh Alexander came back. They never seemed to be on the right course. Alexander eventually turned heel, has formed a new faction called the Northern Armory. Maclin himself has turned babyface after working with Eric Young for a while. So now the shoes are on the other feet. Right off the bat, Maclin threw Alexander out of the ring and followed with a scud dive into the barricade. Maclin got a table at one point. Alexander came in and had a series of German suplexes, including a suplex into the turnbuckle. Alexander then got a table out. This enabled Maclin to hit a DVD, send a Death Valley driver, sending Alexander through the table that he had gotten out. Alexander. Maclin then broke up an ankle lock attempt with a trash can lid. He set up a trash can in the corner at one point. Alexander set up a chair in the ring. Maclin hit Alexander back onto the chair and then followed that with a backbreaker. A psycho knee through the chair. That's what happened. That's what it was. However, Maclin went up for a top rope headbutt. Alexander threw the chair back into his face, put on an ankle lock, but then got flung into the corner trash can. And then Maclin at the KIA and pulled Alexander up for 2. He then got under the ring and pulled out a bag of spent shell casings, bullet shell casings, and tried to hit the KIA onto those. But a brief moment allowed Alexander to recover enough, hit a low blow, and then hit kind of a torture rack slam, sending Maclin through the table that he had set up much earlier in the match. So wrestling rules adhere there. If you set the table up, you will go through it. And then MacLeod fought back again. Alexander went for a super C4 spike. MacLeod hit a headbutt and instead hit Alexander with a KIA off the top rope for the 3 count of the victory onto the shell casings. He got the 3 count in the victory after that. So, yeah, again, it's also not a secret here that Josh Alexander is on his way out of the company. He wanted to leave earlier this year, but they activated an option in his contract, so he has to stick around until, I believe, May of 2025. I may be wrong on that. But yeah, they may have tacked on injury time to boot. So he is making the best of it, I think, with this new faction, but they didn't get involved at all. You know, they were banned from ringside. They didn't really do much of anything. So, you know, if you wanted them to get involved or anything to that nature, but still, you know, MacLeod got his victory. Again, maybe now he can be pushed up to start competing for championships again, because I still think he could be a really strong champion, either heel or face now for this company, and he's just kind of been left lingering in the lower card for a little too long. After a vignette for Chris Bay, I'm sure if you follow wrestling, you know that story. Do what you can to support him. He has a GoFundMe. Like I said, you can buy merchandise on TNA shop or Pro Wrestling Tees that will help benefit if you don't want to donate to the GoFundMe. Anyway, we had our 6-man tag team match. The Hardys and Ace Austin versus Zachary Wentz, Kushida, and someone else. It was supposed to be Trey Miguel. It was supposed to be the Rascals. However, Miguel got hailed up by the same travel issues that PCO did, I guess. And so he could not compete. They had to get someone else. Wentz got on the microphone. He said, yeah, you know, Trey Miguel couldn't be here. He wishes he could, you know, but, you know, I had to sit in the treehouse for a while. Smoke weed. He had to sit in the treehouse for a while. He decided to call the shaman. He said, dude, the broad is always open. And then you hear, bro. So, yes, Matt Riddle in TNA. One shot only? Who knows? But yes, Matt Riddle was the mystery partner. Right off the bat, Austin and Wentz faced each other for a bit, dodged some kicks. Wentz very politely asked Austin to tag in Jeff Hardy, which he did. Jeff then kind of led Wentz on a little bit of a chase that resulted in him blind tagging Matt so that Matt could get a quick cheap shot in. The Hardys have been acting kind of heelish recently, so maybe that's a way they could do something. Wentz hit a corkscrew crossbody, tagged in Kushida. Riddle eventually tagged in, had some little gut-wrench suplexes on, I believe it was Ace Austin. I don't think it was one of the Hardys. Matt hit the elite turnbuckle smash on Wentz. Riddle then got the hot tag and hit Matt with a big ripcord knee. Austin and Kushida then took each other down with a couple of very hard roundhouse kicks. Excuse me again. Jeff hit the Whisper in the Wind on Wentz and Kushida. Jeff hit Riddle with the Canadian Destroyer after that, and then enabled the Hardys to hit Kushida with the plot twist and the Swanton for the 3 count of victory. Yeah, this match was, again, not bad, but it was kind of dull. You know, I understand they kind of had to rewrite things a little bit, so I'm going to cut a little bit of slack here. But I do think they could have done much more, especially with the athletes involved. This was rather disappointing. Our next match is the 2 out of 3 falls match for the Knockouts Championship. Masha Slamovich versus Jordan Grace. Right off the bat, both women dodged spinning back fist attempts. Grace came back in a big spine buster. Slamovich hit a corkscrew plancha through the ropes. Slamovich hit a running kick on the apron. Grace came back in a package pile driver on the apron. Slamovich got on the outside and hit a tombstone package pile driver on the concrete. However, she could have taken the 10 count and gotten the first fall. She elected to try to go for a pinfall instead and rolled Grace back into the ring. This led to a series of roll-ups, which eventually culminated in Grace putting a jackknife pin on Slamovich to get the first fall. Right off the bat, Slamovich did come back, landed a few kicks, locked on kind of a double chicken wing, which Grace countered into a full Nelson. Slamovich tried to go for a rear naked choke, but Grace fell back down. Grace hit a vertebreaker. Slamovich came across in a tornado DDT into a guillotine choke. And then Slamovich countered a juggernaut driver into a roll-up for the second fall. As this happened, Rosemary appeared on the entryway and stood there laughing or something. I don't know. No, only the cameras noticed and the announcers noticed, or no one else really did or acknowledged it. After that, though, Slamovich hit several maneuvers. She eventually hit the package pile driver and got the third and deciding fall. Overall, really entertaining match. No real secret. Again, Jordynne Grace is probably on her way out of the company. Her appearances with NXT, I think, have gone over really well. She's probably going to WWE, probably going to be in the Rumble again this year. I don't know if she'll go right back down to NXT or not. NXT's women's division right now is really loaded. I mean, we could get into that a little bit later, but like I said, no real shot there. And of course, building up Rosemary to be Masha Slamovich's next opponent probably makes a bit more sense. I don't know where this is eventually going to lead to. Killer Kelly, Masha Slamovich's former tag team partner, has obviously been out on maternity leave. And then, Alicia Edwards did that thing. I don't know what happened to Tasha Steelz. But yeah, again, that's kind of left the Knockouts division is a little bit of a lurch right now. So, I guess they could do that. Again, Rosemary's a good standard standby for in case of emergency break glass. A feud here. So, again, it kind of makes sense. Overall, like I said, this was a fun match. I would probably put this the second best match of the night behind the no DQ match. Very entertaining match overall. After that, we had the TNA World Championship match, Nick Nemeth versus Eddie Edwards. Right off the bat, Nemeth tried for a quick roll-up, put on a figure four head scissors. Edwards came back at a big back elbow. Alicia Edwards got involved. She grabbed Nemeth's hair, distracting him. She tripped him at another point. At one point, they got to the outside. Nemeth went for a super kick. Edwards dodged into it. The kick wound up taking out the timekeeper. Alicia tripped Nemeth as they got back into the ring. However, the ref caught her and ejected her. Edwards countered a Famouser into a Blue Thunder Bomb. Nemeth eventually did hit the Famouser. Alicia Edwards hit the ring again. Just provided just enough of a distraction for Nemeth to clocked Nemeth with the ring with the championship belt is what she did actually, and that enabled Edwards to hit the Boston Knee Party, but only got a 2 count. Nemeth countered a move into the Danger Zone, the Die Hard driver from Edwards into the Danger Zone. As this happened, Brian Myers ran down and hit the ring, still in his turkey suit. He hit the ring. He was preparing to attack Edwards. However, John Layfield came out, and Layfield had recently been seen interacting with the system, so I thought, oh, he's going to betray Nemeth. But instead, he attacked Myers. He hit him with the clothesline from hell, leading the further mystery as to what exactly is going on between him and Nick Nemeth. If you know anything, John Layfield is, I think I said JBL. He's not JBL. That's WWE trademark. So. He's just JL at this point. John Layfield has said he's got, he's been working out again. His back is in good shape. He can finally get the proper retirement match that he's wanted. I guess he wants Nick Nemeth. Who knows? Eventually, though, Nemeth hit the Danger Zone on Edwards and got the 3 count. Overall, like I said, not a bad match. Just again, a little too formulaic. A little too much interference for my taste. I think, once Edwards got ejected the first time, if you need to have Myers come down and hit Nemeth with the belt, you don't need Edwards to come down again. Then you can have John Layfield come out and attack Myers, or something to that effect. I think that would have just helped a little bit, because the ending kind of just felt down pat. I mean, nothing even happened after that. Nemeth celebrated, and then it just cut. So they must have been up against some type of deadline. This show was short. Like I said, all of the matches just kind of felt like, yeah, well, you know, we go until they say we have to wrap it up, and then we immediately wrap things up. You know, it did feel like there was some type of epic conclusion or any real story building throughout any of this. This just felt like we needed something to have up in November for a premium live event. Yeah, and that just left with a real hollow feeling. So, yeah, like, I think it could have been better is what I'm trying to say there. So, yeah. Overall, like I said, the show is not terrible, except the matches were serviceable. I like the no-DQ match. I like the Knockouts Championship match. The World Championship match, a third best, but no, overall I'm still mostly positive on. And just the other matches were very standard. Nothing spectacular to really talk about. Just, again, kind of flat and uninspired. Like I said, not a terrible show by any stretch of the imagination, but not a great show either. I'm going to give TNA Turning Point 2024 a C. Again, like it wasn't bad enough to really warrant anything lower than that, but it wasn't obviously good enough to. It was very average. It was very mid, as the kids like to say. So yeah, yeah, just a C there. Okay, so again, we're going to have Survivor Series next. That'll probably be up on Sunday. After that, it's, you know, we'll probably talk about what the next wrestling shows are going to be after that coverage. So the next video after that's going to be the NFL preview. Then we're going to do the College Conference Championship previews. And then hopefully somewhere in between those, or maybe just after the next football predictions show after that, will be the random trade review on Harley Quinn Hot in the City. See you all next time.
Hey guys, remember you can help me maintain and possibly even expand my professional wrestling covers by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions. Also, remember to like the video, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell.